If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's the fact that Koenigsegg has found a way to outdo themselves constantly, and the Koenigsegg Gemera is proof of this fact. In this video, we'll be reviewing the insane Koenigsegg Gemera production car. If you thought the word insane was reserved for roller coasters and daredevil stunts, wait until you hear what this four-wheeled beast has in store. Koenigsegg just dropped a bombshell that left jaws hanging around the globe. First, imagine a car so powerful it could make a cheetah blush, and an engine so wild that camshafts will run off screaming in fear. Yes, that's exactly how I'll describe the Gemera, a four-seat supercar that's basically a caffeine-fueled cheetah on wheels with a turbocharged three-cylinder engine that's so crazy it probably moonlights as a popcorn machine on wheels. Fast forward 3 years and the Koenigsegg is back with the official Gemera production version. And let me tell you, they didn't just turn up the volume, they cranked it up to 11. Now you've got the optional powertrain that's so beefed up it could power a spaceship to the moon and back before you finish your cereal. Trust me, you're not ready for the mind-numbing 2,300 horsepower. Yes, this car's got more horses than a Wild West rodeo. And while most of the changes are hiding under the sleek exterior, they did manage to give the front bumper a little nip and tuck. But let's be honest, the Gemera is still rocking that low-slung, slippery body that's sleeker than you can imagine. Oh, and did I mention the new green and gold combo that makes this thing look like it just stole the color palette from a leprechaun's closet? It genuinely seems Koenigsegg is just getting started with us.
We're just fairly tall. There are taller persons that we also showcase. You can be up to 2 meters and still sit fairly comfortably, which is unheard of for a 2+2.
Say goodbye to those futuristic camera thingamajigs from the concept car. The Gemera now sports proper side view mirrors that scream, "I'm practical, but I'll still leave you eating my dust at the stoplight." They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but Koenigsegg seems to be rewriting the laws of physics with their latest creation. The Gemera is more than just a car, it's a symphony of speed and style. It comes with something straight out of a sci-fi movie, the Lightspeed Tourbillon transmission, or as we like to call it, the LSTT, because let's face it, that name is a tongue twister. It's almost like Koenigsegg thought, why settle for regular gear shifts when we can have ones faster than a speeding bullet?
With the transmission, because you have 9 gears with gear ratio, and it has to do with homologation and transmission, because as soon as you start changing gear ratios, you actually have to re-homologate the emissions of the cars and so on.
They borrowed some genius tech from their Jesco Hypercar, and now the Gemera can change gears quicker than you can blink. No flywheel? No problem. The engine's crankshaft is now BFFs with the input shaft, making shifts so rapid that even the Flash might get a little jealous.
Oh,
In the world of Gemera, power is the name of the game, and Koenigsegg knows how to play it like a pro.
And it manages to convert more torque when you're driving slowly through a hydraulic turbine-like process.
They took their 2.0-liter inline-3 engine from the experimental zone and partnered it with not one, not two, but 3 electric motors. It's like they thought, why have just one when you can have 3 amigos powering this beast? Fast forward to the production model, and Koenigsegg decided to simplify things a bit. They introduced the dark matter electric motor, which sounds like it could be the villain in a sci-fi comedy. This motor is so impressive that it produces 800 horses and a jaw-dropping 922 pound-feet of torque. Translation? The Gemera is now a lean, mean, torquey machine that's ready to pounce on the road. Oh, and they even came up with the term raxial flux to describe it. It's basically like mixing peanut butter and chocolate, a genius combo of radial and axial flux. Who knew motors could be so deliciously complex? Try to think of the Gemera shedding a few pounds and gaining more space. Yes, it's like it went on a magical weight loss journey and came back looking even more fabulous. How, you ask? Well, Koenigsegg waved their magic wand and transformed the Gemera from a trio of electric motors to just one. It's like they decided to give the Gemera a spa day and treat it to some weight reduction and space-saving treatments. And boom, we have a Gemera that's lighter, sleeker, and oh so ready to hit the streets. Now let's talk about torque, that magical force that turns wheels and leaves tire marks on the asphalt like a kid scrubbing on a canvas. The Gemera? Well, it's like a mad scientist's experiment gone right. It's got all-wheel drive, which means all its wheels are in on the action, making sure you stick to the road like peanut butter on bread. And get this, it's got not 1, but 4-wheel torque vectoring. It's like the Gemera has been to torque school and aced all its exams. And when it comes to power, this beast doesn't hold back. It's got 2 sources of power, an E-motor, which is like a supercharged squirrel on caffeine, and a gas engine. Because why settle for just one type of fuel, right?
The tube on top of the valves with loops on them, pushing the valves up and down with the splits. We throw that away, and then we put actuators over each valve so we can operate them individually.
These powerhouses team up to produce a jaw-dropping 1,400 horsepower. Yes, 1,400 horses are stampeding under the hood, or should I say, galloping under the aerodynamic body. And let's not forget about the torque, that twisty force that launches you into the future. With a whopping 1,364 pound-feet of torque, the Gemera could probably tow a mountain if it felt like it. But wait a minute, there's a plot twist. Those numbers are a bit lower than what was promised back in 2020. But hey, no worries, because even a slightly tamed Hurricane is still a Hurricane, right? Koenigsegg might have dialed it down a bit, but this car still packs more punch than a kangaroo in a boxing match. And here comes the fun part: acceleration and performance. Koenigsegg, the mastermind behind this automotive masterpiece, claims that thanks to some weight-saving magic and a spanking new transmission, the Gemera's performance is out of this world. We're talking acceleration that'll make your heart race faster than a squirrel on an energy drink. But, and it's a big but, they haven't spilled the beans on the exact numbers yet. They're keeping us on the edge of our seats, waiting for that magical ta-da moment. Ta-da! When they finally reveal the secret recipe of speed. For those owners who felt their 3-cylinder hybrid was giving them a power nap, you have absolutely nothing to worry about, because Koenigsegg has a turbocharged surprise that will leave you grinning like a kid in a candy store.
But the cells today, if you want a range, it's just bulky and heavy.
Yeah.
And then if you get the power with the range, you're still in a heavy car.
Right.
So there is a bit of a compromise going on there still.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Inline 3? That's cute, but I need something that roars like a lion with a megaphone. Well, Koenigsegg's got your back. Or should I say, your foot on the gas pedal. The Gemera is here to blow your hair back, and maybe your hat too, with its twin-turbo 5.0-liter V8 engine straight from the legendary Jesco. If you thought 1,500 horsepower was impressive, brace yourself for a seismic shift in your car enthusiasm. This 8-cylinder monster is happily married to an 800 horsepower dark matter e-motor. It's like a marriage made in automotive heaven, where the V8 brings the brawn and the e-motor brings the electric finesse. The result? Hold on to your driving gloves, because the Gemera HV8, that's hot V8 for the uninitiated, is ready to send you hurtling down the road with a jaw-dropping 2,300 horsepower. And just in case you weren't counting, that's more power than a caffeinated cheetah on a rocket-powered skateboard. But power is nothing without torque, right? Don't worry, because Koenigsegg's got that covered too.
Setting of all the components, because aluminium and steel, it expands and contracts with temperatures, and some components might be affected by humidity and so on.
The Gemera doesn't just have torque, it has torque that could probably bench press a small mountain. With a monstrous 2,028 pound-feet of torque at its disposal, this car doesn't just accelerate, it catapults you into a whole new dimension of speed and adrenaline. Trust me, the Gemera is about to redefine everything you know about velocity. And hey, Koenigsegg isn't just bragging here, they've got the numbers to prove it. They proudly declare the Gemera is the most powerful production car out there. So if you're the kind of person who loves breaking records, and maybe a speed limit or two, this is your golden ticket to automotive supremacy. I can literally imagine the engineers at Koenigsegg trying to fit a V8 in a space that could barely handle a pizza box. But hey, innovation knows no bounds, right?
And it's also a climatic chamber that you can go down to minus 30 degrees and up to ambient of 60, 70 degrees.
During a test.
During a test, exactly.
So what did these geniuses do? They managed to cram that V8 engine right in the middle of the car, surrounded by 4 seats. Now I know what you're thinking. Is this car just an engine on wheels? Well, no it's not. Koenigsegg had to tinker with the V8 setup from their Jesco model. They moved the exhaust exits to the top center of the engine, probably to make it look like the car was belting out flames from its hairdo. And that's how the hot V8 was born. If engines had feelings, this one would be strutting its stuff like a diva on the red carpet. Koenigsegg went all out and opened a fancy new facility at their headquarters in Ängelholm, Sweden. They're busy cooking up more magic to infuse into the Gemera. Think of it as a secret lab where mad scientists, engineers are concocting the potion for an even crazier ride. The Gemera's production party is set to start at the end of 2024, and the deliveries are slated to begin in 2025. So if you ever dreamt of driving a car that feels like it was built by aliens from the future, you might want to mark your calendars. Now, the big question: how much will all this craziness cost? Well, dear viewer, it's still a mystery. There's no word on the price tag or how much extra you'll have to shell out for the HV8 model. But one thing's for sure, this won't be your average budget budget-friendly car. We're talking multiple millions of dollars here. It's like Koenigsegg is saying, if you have to ask about the price, this car probably isn't for you. Go buy a small island instead. What do you think about the Koenigsegg Gemera? Let us know in the comments section. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you find this content valuable. We'll see you in the next one.